I haven't said anything yet. Sit down. Sit down. But I will tell you, it's an honor to have Thomas Paine be your warm-up act. And as Bob Basso and I met last night and earlier today, it's just delightful to see one of the founding fathers I could see eye to eye with. And there aren't a lot of people that I can do that. And Dave has made far too much of this general thing. And I've told some of you this anecdote, and I can almost tell you it's true. When I became a general, that's a big deal. And my boss called me in at the Pentagon and he said, Bernie, we got some great news. We're going to make you a general. And I said, why me? And he said, well, because you're a model officer. And I said, wow, that's impressive. So I went home to tell Debbie. I said, Debbie, guess what? They're going to make me a general. And her reaction was, why you? And I said, it's because I'm a model officer. And she looked very knowingly at me and nodded and went to the other room. She came back with the dictionary. And she had circled the meaning of model. And it says model, noun, miniature replica of the real thing. That's how you get to be a general. And I will tell you, Mr. Thomas Paine, I don't quite get the Razorback and the odor thing as a Razorback myself. I don't get that. What we don't need is Longhorns. That's what we don't need. I received a gift over Christmas, and it was one of these new cosmic books. It's one of these Kindle things that you may be familiar with. And you can download books to it, and I still do a good bit of traveling. And one of the first things I wanted to put on there was the seminal documents of our republic. And I went on to the Kindle website and I found a copy of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and the Articles of Confederation because I like to read those and I read them often. And I downloaded the Constitution first and I opened it up as an electronic document. And the first words I read were, warning. Some people may find this document offensive because of matters of gender and ethnicity and principle. And I thought, what in the world is going on here? This is the Constitution of the United States of America that I raised my arm to the square 7 times and swore to support and defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and now I'm being warned that it's an obscene document. Now, I will tell you, folks, we are dealing with many issues in America today. We're dealing with an administration that in 15 months has nationalized 4 sectors of our economy. They started with the finance sector. They moved to the automotive sector. Very recently, they moved to the healthcare sector. And if you blinked once, you missed it. But now the entire student loan program has been nationalized. And we focus on these things. I focus on these things. I'm sure you read about these things and you fret and you worry and you go, what are we going to do? And I know I do. But I have come to the conclusion, folks, that those are symptoms, those are not the disease. The disease that we have in America today is the disease of we've been asleep at the switch and we need to wake up America. If you look at what's happened financially, and we can go through the numbers, and I do want to talk a few of them, though I don't want to bore you with a bunch of statistics. There is this temptation to think that this is all a pendulum. There's this temptation to think that out of Jimmy Carter, bless his heart, and you know, once you say bless his heart, you can say anything you want about somebody. Jimmy Carter, bless his heart, that it swung back and we got Ronald Reagan. And then it swung back and we got Bill Clinton, bless his heart. And then it swung back and we got a Bush. But folks, that pendulum is swinging more wildly every cycle. We are at a tipping point by any measure. And it's not just numbers, but the numbers are telling. Any economist will tell you that in a free market system, in a capitalistic system, once the federal government consumes 20% of everything we make and everything we do, it is no longer a free market. With the new health care bill that has been enacted into law, our government now consumes 25% of everything we produce. It is now a full quarter of our economy. That should be chilling to every one of us. Our national debt and we've heard a lot about it, but it's worth saying again, is now $12 trillion. We don't make but about $14 trillion, and everything we produce, everything we manufacture, every service we provide in America adds up to $14 trillion. Economists will tell you, when your debt reaches 80% of everything you make, you're in trouble. With the new Obama budget, we have gone beyond 80%. We are at the tipping point. Our national deficit, how much more our government spends in a year than it takes in. Our deficit compared to everything we make is now 11%. Greece is the basket case economy of Europe. Their number is 13%. We're 2 percentage points away from Greece, and we'll move there very quickly under the Obama budget. People, we have to do exactly what our good friend Thomas Paine said a few moments ago. We have to wake up. Now, the opportunity is here for us to take this energy, to take what we're saying, to take what we're doing, and to do something energetic with it. But I look at you, and I'm talking to the converted. Look at how many people are here tonight. We sold 400 tickets, I think I was told earlier today. And yet the population of Fayetteville alone is 70%. People are still not awake. People are still living in a life of comfort. People are still living with the assumption, the presumption that the government will be there to take care of them. The government will not take care of anyone unless anyone takes care of the government, and we've got to stop taking care of the government. We have, in the Social Security Administration, we have built this expectation that my government's going to be there for me. That I've been paying into this Social Security fund and I have an account built up. Folks, there is no money in Social Security. One of the most unfortunate events of 2008 involved a Ponzi scheme. The really unfortunate part of it is the guy that did it had a first name of Bernie. Bernie Madoff appropriately went to jail for running a Ponzi scheme. The biggest Ponzi scheme in the history of time is the Social Security system. In 2010, for the first time in its history, we will be paying out more money out of the current year receipts than we take in. The system is already broke. What happens when you take more out of something that doesn't exist? You dig a deeper and deeper hole. But the greater question in all of this is, how did we get here? The greater question in all of this is, what brought us to this horrible state? Now, I have hope. I have 11 grandchildren. As we say in the Air Force, I have 9 on the runway and 2 in the hangar. And those 2 in the hangar are about to taxi out in another month or so. And I look at my 11 grandchildren, including the sonograms, and I say to myself, what kind of future will you have? What kind of future will I leave behind? What kind of future can you expect? There's nothing exceptional about me. I went to Arkansas Public Schools. I attended school here at the University of Arkansas, and I went in the Air Force. My father was very blue-collar. He was an enlisted man in his entire career in the United States Air Force. But I had opportunity. I worked my way through college by slopping dishes at Pomfret Hall and by working as a night dispatcher for the University Police Department. I sacked groceries, but the opportunity was there. Is the opportunity going to be there for my grandchildren? Is the opportunity going to be there for all of our children and grandchildren? And my premise, friends, is that it's not going to be there unless we do something very, very different. One of